All right, we are about to dive into this incredible story from the historical records of the Nguyen Khanh family. Now, this is a legendary lineage in Vietnam, famous for helping restore the Lê dynasty. But this isn't just some dry history lesson. Oh, no. This is a tale about fate, about character, and about how one single act of kindness can literally ripple through generations. I mean, it's a huge question, right? But for this one family, the answer is a big, loud yes. We're going to see how a single, compassionate decision kicked off a chain of events, a destiny that would go on to shape a nation. And like all the best legends, this one doesn't start with glory and parades. It starts with tragedy, a mysterious disappearance, a terrifying predator, and a son who is left all alone to try and figure out what in the world happened. Okay, so let's set the scene. Our story kicks off with a young man named Wen Gong. His whole world gets turned upside down when his father, who was a really well-respected physician, just vanishes. No note, no trace, nothing. So, what do? Kang is desperate. He's grieving, but he doesn't go to the authorities. Instead, he seeks out a fortune teller, someone skilled in the ancient art of I Ching divination. Using patterns to find answers. He's just hoping for any clue, anything at all, about what happened to his dad. And the answer he gets, wow, it is so specific, it's chilling. The fortune teller tells him, look, a tiger got your father. But that's not all. He says the tiger, for some reason, already buried the body. And he even tells him where to find the grave. So Kang follows these bizarre directions, and sure enough, he finds the spot. And there it is, a burial mound, so perfectly shaped, it looks like a person made it. Now, instead of questioning this strange supernatural event, he just accepts it. He sees it as a sign from heaven and decides, okay, this is it. This is my official ancestral tomb. So, let's fast forward a few years. Kang grows up and follows in his father's footsteps, becoming a physician himself. But here's the thing about him. He is not driven by money at all. He becomes known all over the region for his skill, sure, but even more for his kindness and his rock-solid integrity. And this little story tells you everything you need to know about his character. A rich guy who's been sick for over a year comes to him and offers 5 kwon for a cure. And trust me, that was a lot of money. But Kang, even though he's poor, only accepts 1 kwon. Why? Because that was the actual honest cost of the simple medicine he made from papaya and black beans. So when the patient comes back, totally cured and absolutely stunned by Chang's honesty, he asks him, why did you charge so little? And Kang's reply is just so simple and so profound. It wasn't about the patient's money or his own poverty. It was just about doing the right thing. The man is so moved by this that he gives him a gift that's way more valuable than cash, a cow. And this is a game changer. It lets Kanjal finally farm his land and actually provide for his family. It's like a direct reward for his virtue. But that was just a warm-up. Kenji's biggest test, and it turns out his greatest reward, was still on its way. And it showed up on a totally normal evening, disguised as a lost traveler. Okay, so for this next part to make sense, we need to quickly talk about Phone 3, or geomancy. Basically, it's this ancient belief that the land itself has energy, a natural flow. And a master of this art, a geomancer, can read that energy to predict fortune or disaster. It's a really big deal. So one evening, this super famous geomancer and his assistant get lost out by Ngoxorn Mountain. They spot a farmer working late in his field. And yep, it's our guy, Nguyen Khanh. Khanh warns them, hey, the forests around here are dangerous at night, full of wild animals, and he urges them to find some shelter. Khanh, being the person he is, offers the strangers a place to stay. But you have to understand, the stakes here are incredibly high. The whole region is in the middle of a famine. His family has almost nothing left to eat. All they have is 1 single chicken and 1 bowl of rice. And that food was specifically set aside for a sacred ceremony to honor their ancestors the very next day. Now, the geomancer is pretending to be asleep, but he's listening to every word as Khang talks it over with his wife. And Khang's solution is just remarkable. He decides to cook everything they have left. He'll give half to the ancestors that night to honor them and serve the other half to these complete strangers so they don't go hungry. He literally puts the needs of strangers on the same level as his most sacred duty. The geomancer, lying there, is absolutely floored. He is so moved by this incredible act of selflessness. He realizes he's just stumbled upon a person of true, deep virtue, and he knows he has to repay this kindness in a way that only a geomancer can. The next morning, the guest comes clean. He reveals that he's a master geomancer, and he tells Kang that while he was wandering around, he discovered a piece of land nearby with extraordinary energy, a spot destined to produce kings and ministers, basically a place with cosmic lottery-winning power. And he gives Kang a prophecy. He says this land will give his family generations of power and high status. But there's a catch. To unlock all that greatness, his descendants have to leave their homeland. And there's a second part to the prophecy. It promises that his sons and grandsons will be heroes, but it also comes with a warning. Because of a flaw in the water's flow, near the special spot, the women in the family might be fated to become widows. A truly bittersweet destiny, right? The geomancer leaves, and Kanj is left holding not gold, but a blueprint for his family's destiny. And being the man he is, a man who trusts in signs from heaven, he takes this incredible advice to heart. King does exactly what the geomancer told him to do. He moves his mother's tomb to that sacred piece of land. And, just like the prophecy said, his family's fortunes start to change, setting the stage for generations of absolute greatness. And the prophecy about a great lineage? Well, it starts to come true right away. Kin and his wife end up having 7 sons. 7, a number that's already considered lucky, who would then go on to fulfill their family's incredible destiny. And the rest, as they say, is quite literally history. His sons, his grandsons, they all became the famous generals and officials of the Lei dynasty, just as the geomancer predicted. And long after his death, in honor of what his descendants achieved, Win Kang, the humble, honest physician, was given the noble title of Marquis. His virtue had truly built a dynasty. Which brings us right back to that very first question we asked. This whole story suggests that maybe destiny is like a giant map laid out in front of us, full of potential roads and mountains and valleys. But it's our character, our integrity, our kindness, the choices we make when things get tough. That's the compass that ultimately decides which path we walk.